There is a power in smallness. Small acts done consciously with presence ripple outwards in ways we cannot always perceive. The transformation you seek is not found in grand gestures or distant goals, but in the simple moments that form the fabric of your day. Let us consider 5 small habits, simple yet profound, that have the capacity to shift the entire landscape of your life. Before any action takes place, before the mind carries you away on the endless waves of thought, there is a moment, a quiet, subtle space that often goes unnoticed. It is here in this small space that life unfolds fully and freely. The habit of pausing and breathing consciously is not merely a physical act. It is an invitation to come home to yourself, to come back from the scattered mind and fragmented attention into the fullness of the present moment. In the modern world, so much pulls us outward. Tasks, worries, plans, memories. The mind spins a never-ending narrative, often about things that do not yet exist or things that have already passed. We are caught in a web of mental noise, and the habit of pausing creates a sacred break in this cycle. It is a break that leads you back to the silence beneath the noise, to the stillness beneath the turmoil. When you pause, you interrupt the automatic patterns of reaction. The tendency to respond from habit, from conditioned impulse, is gently suspended. This simple interruption opens the door to a different way of being, one where you are not lost in the storm of thought, but rooted in the calm center beneath it. The pause is a small but powerful act of reclaiming your presence. To pause is to become aware that you are slipping into unconsciousness. Most of the time we live as if asleep, moving through the day in a kind of trance, carried along by thoughts and emotions. The pause is the waking moment, the awakening to the fact that you are alive and present. It is a moment of recognition. Here I am, not as a mental concept or a role you play, but as the living consciousness that perceives. Breathing consciously in that pause is the next step. Breath is the bridge between body and mind, between the inner and outer worlds. When you breathe with awareness, you return to the body, the only place where true presence can be found. The breath anchors you, pulling you away from the restless mind and into the reality of the now. Notice the breath as it moves in and out without trying to change it. Simply observe its natural rhythm. Feel the coolness as air enters your nostrils and the warmth as it leaves. Sense the subtle movement of the chest or the rise and fall of the abdomen. This small act of attention is a doorway into the present moment. There is something deeply healing in this simple practice. The breath carries life itself. It is a reminder that you are part of a greater flow, connected to all that is. To breathe consciously is to participate in this flow with awareness and gratitude. It is a moment of connection, a moment of grace. The habit of pausing and breathing may seem insignificant or too simple to create change, but it is like planting a seed that grows silently and steadily beneath the surface. Over time, this seed blossoms into a profound shift in your relationship to yourself and to life. Instead of reacting automatically to circumstances, you begin to respond with clarity and calmness. When you pause and breathe, you create a space between stimulus and response. This space is freedom. It allows you to choose how to act rather than being driven by old patterns or conditioned fears. It is a reclaiming of your power, the power to be present and aware, to live with intention rather than habit. This habit also cultivates patience. In the pause, urgency fades. The constant rush to do more, to achieve more, begins to soften. You realize that everything unfolds in its own time, and that by being fully present, you are in harmony with life's natural rhythm. The pause teaches you to trust the unfolding rather than trying to force it. Moreover, the conscious breath is always available no matter where you are or what you are doing. It is a refuge you can return to again and again. In moments of stress or confusion, simply pausing and taking a few mindful breaths can restore a sense of balance and clarity. This makes the habit a practical tool, accessible to everyone. This habit also awakens a deeper awareness of the present moment as the only true reality. The past is gone. The future is not yet here. What is real is this moment, this breath, this being alive now. The pause with conscious breath opens your senses to the richness of the here and now, the colors, sounds, sensations, and feelings that are often missed when the mind is distracted. In this moment of pause, you are not separate from life, but intimately connected to it. The breath links you to the living world, to the earth beneath your feet, to the air around you, to the vastness within. It is a reminder that life is happening right now, and you are part of this magnificent presence. Practicing this habit regularly changes how you experience your days. The moments become less fragmented, less hurried, and more coherent. Your attention becomes sharper, your emotions become less reactive, and your mind becomes quieter. You begin to live from a place of centeredness rather than distraction. Even in difficult times, the pause and conscious breath are a refuge. When challenges arise, instead of being overwhelmed by anxiety or anger, the pause invites you to meet the difficulty with calm awareness. This does not mean denying the reality of pain or discomfort, but facing it with a steady heart and clear mind. Ultimately, the habit of pausing and breathing consciously is an act of kindness toward yourself. It is a way of saying, I am here for you. I will not let you be lost in the turmoil of thought. I will bring you back to peace again and again. It is a promise of presence and care. This small habit practiced with dedication slowly dissolves the illusion that you are separate from peace. It reveals that peace is not something to be found outside, but is your essential nature, always present beneath the surface of thought and emotion. So begin with this simple step. Pause, breathe, be present, and watch how your life begins to change. The power lies not in what you do, but in how you do it. And the how is presence. The habit of presence is the habit that changes everything. To notice your inner state is to become a silent observer of the landscape within yourself. It is a simple yet profound habit, one that calls you to step back from the constant identification with thoughts and emotions and to witness them with gentle awareness. This witnessing is not about judgment or analysis, but about pure presence, an open, curious attention that does not cling, resist, or push away what arises. It is a doorway into freedom. Most of us live deeply entangled in the dramas of our minds and the fluctuations of our feelings. We experience waves of anger, sadness, anxiety, or joy, and we identify so closely with these states that they feel like the essence of who we are. Yet beneath these ever-changing currents lies a stillness, a presence that is untouched by any emotion or thought. The habit of noticing your inner state invites you to rest in this stillness by first becoming aware of the moving patterns themselves. When you begin to observe your feelings and thoughts as they appear, you create a space between yourself and the contents of your mind. This space is essential because it reveals that you are not your emotions or your thoughts. You are the awareness in which they arise. This subtle but fundamental shift changes everything. It reveals that your true self is not the storm, but the sky in which the storm moves. As you develop this habit, you may notice how often you are lost in thought or swept away by an emotion without realizing it. Perhaps a worry occupies your mind, looping endlessly without resolution. Perhaps a subtle tension or heaviness lingers in your chest, unnoticed until you pause to pay attention. By simply bringing awareness to these inner states, you begin to unravel the unconscious identification with them. This habit requires no effort beyond attention. There is no need to change or fix anything, only to notice. When a feeling arises, be it irritation, sadness, joy, or peace, allow it to be fully present. Watch it without pushing it away or clinging to it. Observe the way it moves through your body, the way it colors your thoughts. Notice the shape, the texture, the intensity of the feeling. This gentle observation is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly what was hidden becomes visible, and with visibility comes choice. In this witnessing, you discover that emotions and thoughts are transient. They come and go like clouds crossing the sky. You may notice that an unpleasant feeling, once fully observed, loses its power over you. You are no longer caught in its grip. Similarly, joyful or peaceful states are no longer something you chase or try to hold on to, but gifts that arise naturally when the mind is still. The habit of noticing your inner state also reveals habitual patterns that often operate beneath your awareness. Perhaps you tend to suppress anger or bury sadness. Perhaps your mind habitually drifts into worry or self-criticism. When you observe these patterns with kindness and without judgment, they begin to lose their unconscious hold on you. Awareness itself acts as a gentle but powerful force that dissolves old habits of reactivity. This awareness cultivates a deep compassion for yourself. Instead of being harsh or critical when difficult emotions arise, you learn to meet them with kindness and curiosity. You recognize that these states are part of being human, waves on the surface of a deeper peace. This compassion transforms your relationship with your inner world. No longer a battlefield, it becomes a space of understanding and healing. Noticing your inner state is also a way to cultivate emotional intelligence. When you are aware of what is happening inside, you become better able to respond skillfully to life's challenges. Instead of reacting automatically, you can choose to act from a place of clarity and calmness. This habit thus expands your freedom in how you live and relate to others. There is a profound connection between this inner noticing and the present moment. To truly observe your inner state, you must come fully into the now. Thoughts about the past or future fade in significance when you are fully attentive to what is happening inside you at this moment. In this way, the habit of noticing the inner state naturally deepens your presence and anchors you in the here and now. You might find that at first this practice feels unfamiliar or even uncomfortable. The mind resists being watched and may try to distract you with stories or judgments. Emotions may surface that you have long avoided, but it is precisely in the persistence of this gentle witnessing that transformation occurs. Like sunlight slowly melting away frost, awareness gradually clears the darkness of unconsciousness. This habit invites a softening of resistance. When you notice a difficult emotion or thought, instead of pushing it away or struggling against it, allow yourself to feel it fully. You may discover that the intensity diminishes as you do not resist, but simply accept what is present. This acceptance is not resignation, but a conscious openness that leads to liberation. Over time, the habit of noticing your inner state becomes a natural part of your daily life. It is not limited to moments of formal meditation or quiet solitude, but can be practiced anytime, while walking, working, or even in conversation. This continuous thread of awareness weaves a new quality into your experience, one of spaciousness and peace beneath the surface activity. As you cultivate this habit, you begin to see yourself and your life with new eyes. The small irritations lose their weight, the painful memories soften, the restless mind settles. The observer within becomes stronger and steadier, a silent refuge amid the shifting tides of experience. This inner witnessing also opens you to a deeper truth, that beneath all states of mind and emotion, there is a presence that is whole, untouched, and eternal. This presence is your true nature, waiting patiently beneath the layers of identification. The habit of noticing your inner state is a key that unlocks the door to this discovery. With each moment of conscious observation, you step closer to freedom. The habit is not about becoming perfect or eradicating difficult feelings, but about becoming awake to what is, without judgment, without resistance. In this awakening, you find a quiet power and peace that no external circumstance can take away. Gratitude is often thought of as a response to something extraordinary, a moment of great joy, a remarkable achievement, or an unexpected gift. Yet true gratitude is not something to be reserved for the exceptional. It is a practice that awakens when you open your eyes to the simple, ordinary gifts that surround you every day. The habit of practicing gratitude for the ordinary is a gentle reminder that life itself, in all its subtlety, is a continuous unfolding of miracles waiting to be noticed. In the rush of daily life, it is easy to overlook the small blessings, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the quiet rhythm of your breath, the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. These moments are the fabric of existence, the threads that weave the tapestry of life. When you cultivate gratitude for these seemingly insignificant details, you begin to see the world not as something to be taken for granted, but as a precious gift. To practice this habit is to train your attention to rest on what is already present rather than on what is lacking or desired. It is a shift away from the constant pull of the mind that always wants more, that is never satisfied. Instead, you become aware of the richness already here. The ordinary becomes extraordinary when you look through the lens of gratitude. This practice invites a quiet reverence for the moment, a recognition that every breath, every sight, every sound is a manifestation of life itself. The habit of gratitude awakens a deeper connection to the present moment. When you pause to give thanks for the simplest things, you anchor yourself in the now. This anchoring dissolves the endless preoccupation with the past or future that often clouds our experience. Gratitude also softens the heart. When your awareness rests on what is good and nourishing, it creates a sense of warmth and openness. This warmth radiates outwards, influencing your relationships and your perception of the world. The habit of noticing the ordinary blessings fosters kindness and compassion, both toward yourself and others. It is important to remember that gratitude is not about denying pain or difficulty. It is not a forced optimism or a superficial cheerfulness. True gratitude acknowledges the fullness of life, including its shadows, while choosing to focus on what is wholesome and life-affirming. This balanced awareness allows gratitude to be a source of strength rather than avoidance. You may begin this habit simply by noticing something small that often escapes your attention, the way your morning tea or coffee smells, the feeling of your feet touching the ground, the sound of birds outside your window. As you allow gratitude to arise naturally for these things, it becomes a doorway into a deeper sense of presence and peace. With regular practice, gratitude expands beyond isolated moments to become a general attitude, a way of being. You may find that your inner landscape shifts, becoming more peaceful and less restless. The mind, often caught in loops of dissatisfaction, finds relief in the simplicity of appreciation. This relief is a form of liberation from the tyranny of wanting and aversion. This habit also reveals the interconnectedness of all things. When you appreciate the ordinary, You recognize that your life depends on countless unseen conditions: the sun, the soil, the water, the countless beings who contribute to the unfolding of your day. Gratitude awakens a sense of humility and wonder, dissolving the illusion of separation. Furthermore, gratitude cultivates resilience. When life's challenges arise, and they inevitably will, the habit of gratitude provides a steady anchor. In moments of difficulty, even the smallest thing to be grateful for can bring a spark of light into the darkness. This spark is not a denial of hardship, but a reminder that life is more than its problems, that there is always something worthy of appreciation. This practice can be extended beyond the personal to include gratitude for your own growth and presence. You may begin to appreciate your own capacity to endure, to love, to learn. This self-directed gratitude is an act of kindness and acceptance, acknowledging yourself as part of the larger flow of life. Gratitude for the ordinary also quiets the restless mind by focusing it on what is real and tangible. The mind often chases after thoughts of the future or regrets of the past, but when you practice gratitude, your attention is brought gently back to the present and to the tangible. This simple redirection calms the mental chatter and invites a peaceful clarity. In cultivating this habit, you create a sacred space within yourself, a sanctuary of appreciation that is untouched by external circumstances. Whether the day brings joy or sorrow, the sanctuary of gratitude remains a refuge. This inner sanctuary nourishes your spirit and strengthens your capacity to face life's uncertainties with grace. As you deepen your practice of gratitude for the ordinary, you begin to experience life as a continuous unfolding of gifts, not as a series of problems to solve or goals to achieve. This shift in perspective dissolves much of the anxiety and dissatisfaction that often characterize human experience. Gratitude, in its essence, is a recognition of the miracle of existence itself. The habit of practicing it daily is a way to touch that miracle again and again. It reminds you that life, in all its simplicity, is enough. The body is the sacred vessel through which life unfolds in its most immediate and tangible form. It is not merely a machine to be controlled or a problem to be fixed, but a doorway into presence, the living moment itself. The habit of returning to the body is an invitation to awaken from the relentless activity of the mind and to reconnect with the deep stillness and aliveness that reside within. It is a practice of grounding, a refuge from the endless chatter of thought and the fluctuations of emotion. When the mind becomes overwhelmed or restless, it tends to pull you away from the here and now. Thoughts race ahead into the future or drag you back into the past, creating a sense of fragmentation and disconnection. This restless mental activity often leaves the body neglected, reduced to a mere object or a container to carry the mind around. Yet the body is the present moment's home. When you bring your attention back to it, you step out of the story of the mind and into the reality that is always available here and now. Returning to the body means bringing your awareness to the sensations you feel in this moment. It could be the pressure of your feet against the floor, the feeling of your back resting against a chair, the subtle rise and fall of your abdomen as you breathe. These sensations are anchors in the present. They remind you that you are alive, that life is unfolding now through this very body, this very breath. This habit invites you to shift your attention from abstract thought to direct experience. The mind lives mostly in symbols, images, and concepts. The body lives in sensation, in feeling. When you return to the body, you engage with life at its most fundamental level. You leave behind the mental noise and enter a space of pure presence, a space beyond words and images. Notice how often your attention drifts away from your body during the day. Perhaps you spend long hours absorbed in work or caught up in worries. Maybe you are physically tense or disconnected without realizing it. The habit of returning to the body gently interrupts this pattern. It pulls you back into the now, into the fullness of being alive. You might begin this practice simply by pausing and taking a moment to feel your feet on the ground. Feel the texture of the floor beneath them, the sensation of contact, the weight of your body pressing down. This simple act of attention creates a sense of rootedness. It is as if you are planting yourself firmly in the present, no longer drifting in the currents of thought. Another way to return to the body is to bring awareness to your breath. Feel the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then leaving again. Notice the subtle movements of your chest and abdomen as you breathe. The breath is a bridge between body and mind. It is both physical and energetic. When you attend to the breath, you connect to life itself, the flow that sustains you. The body also carries emotional energy. Often, emotions are experienced as physical sensations, tightness in the chest, a knot in the stomach, a heaviness in the shoulders. By returning your awareness to these sensations without judgment or resistance, you allow emotions to be felt fully and released. This is a form of inner healing. The habit of returning to the body thus becomes a practice of acceptance and presence with whatever rises inside you. Returning to the body is also a way to cultivate mindfulness in everyday activities. Whether you are walking, eating, washing dishes, or simply sitting, bringing your full attention to the bodily sensations involved transforms the ordinary into the sacred. The simple act of feeling your hands as they move, the texture of the food as you eat, the sensation of the wind on your skin, all become invitations to presence. This habit deepens your connection not only with yourself, but also with the world around you. When you are fully embodied, you experience a sense of unity with the environment. You are no longer separate, observing from a distance, but an active participant in the dance of life. The body is the gateway to this experience of interconnectedness. There is also a profound peace that comes from inhabiting the body fully. The mind often clings to thoughts, worries, and plans, creating tension and anxiety. The body, when fully present, is naturally relaxed and at ease. Returning to the body helps you access this peace, this natural state of being beneath the turmoil of thought. At times, the body may reveal discomfort or pain. The habit of returning to the body does not mean ignoring these sensations, but meeting them with awareness and compassion. When you bring presence to pain, it often loses some of its intensity. The resistance and fear around pain usually amplify it. By being present with it, you create space for healing and transformation. The habit of returning to the body also enhances your intuition. When you are fully present in your body, you become more attuned to subtle signals and insights that arise. This embodied awareness guides you in decision making and helps you navigate life with greater clarity and confidence. This practice invites a shift in your relationship to yourself. Instead of living primarily in the mind, you begin to live through the whole being, mind, body, and spirit together. This integration brings a sense of wholeness and balance. You move from being caught in mental patterns to inhabiting the fullness of your presence. Returning to the body is not something you do once and forget. It is a continuous practice, a returning again and again to the living moment as it reveals itself through sensation. Each time you do this, you deepen your connection to life and to yourself. The body is a sacred teacher, always present and ready to guide you back to presence. When you listen to it with attention and care, you awaken a new level of awareness that transforms your experience. The habit of returning to the body is a key to unlocking this awakening. Simplifying your environment is more than a practical task. It is a profound step toward reclaiming your inner peace and clarity. The external world often mirrors the state of the mind, and when the spaces around you are cluttered, chaotic, or overwhelming, it becomes difficult to maintain a sense of calm presence. The habit of simplifying your environment invites you to create a sanctuary, a place that supports your being rather than distracts or drains it. The first step in this practice is awareness. Notice how your surroundings affect your state of mind. Does the clutter on your desk pull your attention away from what matters? Do the accumulated objects in your home create a feeling of heaviness or overwhelm? The external disorder often feeds the internal disorder. When the physical space is crowded and noisy, the mind tends to mirror that condition with scattered thoughts and restless emotions. Simplification begins with the intention to let go. Letting go is not only about removing physical objects, it is also about releasing the attachment to things that no longer serve you. It is a gentle but decisive process of choosing what supports your well-being and what does not. This process can awaken a deep sense of freedom. Each item you release is a small liberation, a lightening of your energetic and mental load. In this letting go, there is no need for harshness or judgment. The practice invites kindness and gentleness toward yourself and your possessions. Instead of rushing to purge, take time to look deeply at each object. Ask yourself, does this bring me peace? Does this contribute to the life I wish to live? When an item answers no, it is an opportunity to create space for what is essential. Creating space is a powerful act. Space is not empty, it is full of possibility. It is the breathing room in which creativity, clarity, and calm can arise. When your environment is simplified, you experience more ease in your daily life. Tasks become less burdensome, and the mind finds rest in the openness around you. The habit of simplifying your environment thus cultivates a fertile ground for presence. This habit extends beyond physical belongings. Consider also your digital environment, the constant notifications, the overflowing inbox, the endless tabs open on your computer. These digital distractions can clutter your mind just as much as physical clutter clutters your space. Simplifying here means setting boundaries, organizing thoughtfully, and choosing what deserves your attention. Simplification invites a rhythm of regular maintenance. It is not a one-time event, but an ongoing practice of returning to essentialness. As new things enter your life, old things must be released. This cycle mirrors the natural flow of life, constant renewal and change. By embracing this rhythm, you align yourself with the natural order rather than resisting it. In simplifying your environment, you also cultivate a deeper relationship with the present moment. When you are not surrounded by excess, your senses become more attuned to the subtle beauty and quietness that remain. The ordinary becomes more vivid. The texture of a wooden table, the soft light coming through the window, the gentle hum of life around you, these simple details invite you to slow down and be fully present. This habit challenges the cultural tendency to accumulate and consume. It asks you to question the belief that more possessions equal more happiness or security. Instead, it points toward the wisdom of enough, that a simpler life often leads to greater fulfillment. The practice of simplification reveals that true contentment arises not from external abundance but from inner peace. As you simplify your environment, you may also notice a shift in your energy. Clutter and excess can weigh heavily on your vitality. creating unconscious tension and fatigue. Clearing away the unnecessary lightens your energetic field. This lightness allows you to move more freely through life with greater ease and joy. The process of simplification can be deeply healing. It creates space for what truly matters: relationships, creativity, rest, and connection with the present moment. In this way, your environment becomes a reflection of your inner state, a supportive foundation for the life you wish to cultivate. This habit also encourages mindfulness in your consumption. You begin to notice the impulses that drive you to acquire more and can choose to respond with greater awareness. You become a conscious creator of your environment rather than a passive consumer. This conscious choice empowers you to live in harmony with your values and needs. Simplifying your environment can extend to your commitments and schedule as well. When your external world is uncluttered, it becomes easier to see where your energy is going. You may find it natural to let go of activities or relationships that drain you or pull you away from presence. This clarity supports a life of intention rather than distraction. There is a profound stillness that arises in a simplified space. Without the noise of excess, you can hear the quiet voice within, the inner guidance that often gets drowned out by business and clutter. The habit of simplifying your environment is a pathway back to this inner wisdom. In this way, simplifying is not a deprivation but a gaining of clarity, peace, and connection. Each step towards simplicity brings you closer to your true self, which is always seeking ease, presence, and freedom from unnecessary complication. The environment you create is an extension of your consciousness. By simplifying it, you are inviting a new way of being, one that is lighter, more spacious, and more attuned to the sacredness of the present moment. This habit becomes a powerful tool in your journey of awakening. These 5 small habits, cultivated with patience and presence, create a foundation for a life lived deeply and fully. The changes they bring are subtle at first, but over time, they dissolve old patterns and awaken a new way of being. Remember, transformation is not a distant goal to chase, but the simple act of awakening to the now, moment by moment. Your life changes not when circumstances shift, but when your relationship to those circumstances transforms. Begin here, now,